and do one you love stuff to each other. I opted out of the whole day. I find as I get older, I opt out of shit more and more. Just kind of like, you can only have faith in shit for so long, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, I don't have any faith in it. And don't get me wrong, I've seen it work. My parents have been married for damn near 80 years. How is it different? Like 70, 75 years? How old is my visit? 70 years. My parents have been married for 70 years. Yeah, 70 years. 70 plus. I don't know. It's not my marriage. I just saw it work out. You know what I mean? And everywhere I turn around, everybody's encouraged to abandon each other. Uh, and then the next generation sees it and they're like, yeah, I don't want any part of this. You have a whole generation of people raised by divorcees, right? A lot of those people romanticize it. A lot of those people don't know how to be with anybody else because they haven't seen two examples of a. And how you're supposed to see the male version of something, the female version of something. Nah, a lot of people just get one version, right? Uh, so yeah, it is what it is, what it is, what it is, isn't it? And that's what it is. It is 6:30. No, it's not. It's 7 o'clock. What? It is 7 o'clock. We're a half hour late. Hey, William, I could have sworn we were early. I'm a half hour late. What was I doing where I dropped a half hour? This whole thing I could have sworn took me like 15 minutes to set up, 10, 15 minutes. That's 15 minutes right there. Because I just got going at 6:30, I hate to say it. And then I stopped and got a soda. Uh, so yeah, now that I'm beginning to think about it, a half an hour late. Uh, yeah, love, right? In the time of cholera. Here we are in the time of coronavirus, I'd rather. Everyone loves that book. It was 7:30. You're early. I guess. Am I early? I guess I am really. Um. Yeah. This podcast crawls around, right? Like a ever growing. No, well, it's not growing so much because vines grow, but this is crawling around like a bug. Uh. 6:30 to 4:30 to 7:30 back to 6:30. We say it's 6:30. It's 7 o'clock. Oh my gosh. So yeah, love, man. What are you going to do about it? Um, I'm having a really bad year so far. And it all starts with fret buzz. I don't know if this fret buzz is my bad finger technique, which is fine. I'm not a young man anymore. This is my hobby. I'm not supposed to be great at it. But it sounds like it rattles without me pressing anything. Hear that? It just sounds like a rattle to me. I hear a rattle. All right. Maybe it's just me. Um, ooh, love, huh? I'm a fan of it. Phone. A couple of things. We want to rant a little bit about love and why that is a. You want to continue talking about love off the top of my head? All right, let's do it off the top of my head about love. Here's the problem, as I see it. Um, Everybody likes to date with apps, right? That's lazy bullshit. The whole point of this thing is you're supposed to get. Well, we met once. No, you're both on your best behavior, right? Trying to impress each other. And then after your best behavior wears away, you're stuck with the real nuggets of people. This is why you should just meet them out in the open environment of the world. But I think people have foregone these important social connections to chase money and things because people aren't important and fuck people and I'm the most important thing ever. And then they get some of what they want, which is the career and the books and the bullshit. But all that stuff you should have been paying attention to. It's like exercising, right? Exercising shouldn't be a thing that you really pay for. You should be active enough to be slim. And here's the thing: if you look at old movies, uh, going back, I'd say to at least 1960, black and white movies, there was a look to the like the average guy, the average girl. Somewhere around 78 and onward, no one is really fit anymore, and that's for a couple of things. No one has one. Nothing has only one cause, and I believe that a lot of that is, don't get mad at me, but lazy parenting. People sat their kids in front of television sets and just fed them this food. Then on top of this, the food is not good. The food is here in America has so many chemicals and everything in it. This is why everybody is always getting throat cancers and well, esophageal cancers from smoking, but like intestinal cancers from like food and uh some throat and tongue cancers from like some people are really susceptible 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 to not everybody has tolerances for everything, right? So I am a hardy motherfucker, knock on wood. um but some things kick my ass, right? I always suffer like, well, all right, how can I phrase this? The last few times I had the flu, I thought I was gonna die. I really did. Not so much a cold, but the flu. Uh, Getting the flu in my 20s was a miserable experience. And people were like, "Man, what? It's the flu. You'll be fine, you're right." The flu, a cold is bad, and I'll keep a cold for 10 days because I. This is me. Um, I'll keep a cold for about 10 days. I'll know it's just coming, and I'm like, "Oh man, I think I feel it. I think I feel it. I feel a little off." My nose will begin running. It'll be 2 days of that. By the third day, it's the first day of the cold, right? So I have a cold for 2 weeks. So, but that first day on, it's 10 days of that. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna thorough flu this bitch up. I'm, uh, do a lot of teas and hot waters and hot showers and all that stuff. But when I have the flu, I can't get out of bed. I can't even. I don't have the energy to do that shit. And every year it gets worse. So this is one reason why I was paranoid about the coronavirus. But also, I'm now, now that I express it out loud, I know my short kind of like, oh man, this flu virus shit is just not the bomb. I got to take care of myself. Um, I also think it's because I'm an ex-smoker, right? And my lungs aren't that good now. Like I was doing some singing, and to hold the note, and I was like, man, I should run out and buy a clarinet just to get some of my lung capacity back. But I was thinking, you know what? Maybe I should stop with all the games. I'm not as young as I used to be, right? Besides, I can cook it, put it on butter, put it on toast. By the way, new report says that marijuana, the enzymes in it, might fight the corona. I don't want to say, but that first I want to read it before the YouTube gods say it's misinformation. Um, okay, let's see this. Let's. This is stream of thought consciousness shit. Don't let me forget where I was. So we were talking about love, which slid us into health. You know, um, we touched on some things about why marriage is not working out. I think all these parents are divas, and in my community, I don't know about every community, but my community is perpetually under assault. So if you can destroy the black family with a lot of divorces and one parent households and a lot of this kind of shit to keep, and then it builds into your logic of, see, look at those people over there. They're a fucking shit show. um, it becomes a shit show. And it's a shit show. So what happens when people begin to fix their shit? They begin to look at who was their problem. Oh man, so America, yeah, people they were talking earlier, Civil War in America. I've been saying this for like 15 years. Welcome to where I'm sitting. And my I think my rationale is very clear. Like people won't want to rule the place. They'll just want to get back at you to be evil and make sure the system doesn't work for you. I think we're approaching those days. Uh marijuana and they were saying how NBC News, New York, so it's a credible station. I don't want to be pulled on this one. Cannabis compound may prevent coronavirus infection, study finds. Oregon State research found, let me, oh, good Lord, I am getting old. Why is that so low? I gotta change this. How did I change this so permanently? All right. Uh, oh, excuse me. Oregon study researchers found two cannabis compounds, cannabigerolic, cannabigerolic acid, cannabigerolic acid, and cannabidiolic, cannabidiolic acid could prevent SARS-CoV-2 from infecting human cells. That's big fucking news right there. Fucking smoke them if you got no. Wait, hold it. We might be a bit premature. Don't like that yet. All right, so we're gonna read some more. Uh, some of the compounds in cannabis may prevent the entry of coronavirus into healthy human cells, according to a study published in the Journal of Natural, in the Journal of Nature Products. You see how I run out of breath in a sentence? I should be able to read about 3 sentences worth. I need to fix my shit. Excuse me. I'm also in a warm apartment because, and that affects all the. Anyway, forget about it. The research was conducted by an Oregon State University and led by Richard Van Bremen, a scientist with a scientist with Oregon State's Global Hemp Innovation Center, College of Pharmacy, and Linus Pauling. And I guess Linus Pauling is a guy. Linus Pauling Institute. All right, so the Great White. It's not the Great White North. It's Oregon. What is Oregon? Oregon would be the Great White North is Canada, but Oregon's pretty freaking northerly. Um, they're at a hemp innovation center. The study suggests two compounds found in commonly. The study suggests two compounds found commonly. Study suggests two compounds found in commonly found in hemp. That's what threw me. There's two founds in here. Compounds found in commonly found in. Two compounds found in commonly found in hemp. Two compounds found in hemp or two compounds commonly found in hemp. Yeah, I think she whoever she is reworded this and just forgot. It happens to all writers. We run across this a lot, don't we? I gotta tell you, man. When I was a kid, there was less of this lazy. Do I want to call it lazy? Because I never proofread shit, and that's the problem. People used to proofread. This is her not proofreading. Or the way people are, they'll read half the they get da, they'll come back here, they'll check their phone, da. Maybe she proofread it, skip the sentence. The study suggests two compounds found and commonly found in hemp cannabinoid acid, CBGA, and cannabidiolic acid, CBDA, prevent coronavirus from entering cells that typically line internal organs and skin in a lab setting. In the study, these acids were able to bind to the SARS-CoV-2 spike protein, the same target used in COVID-19 vaccines and antibody therapy. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. Okay, hold on. Hold it. Hold it. Because that implies maybe you can just get high and not get coronavirus. That would be no, but no. We're not saying that. We're not saying that. That's what it looks like. I'm sure it's not that. So we're gonna keep reading. Again, don't like that yet. All right. That means cell entry inhibitors like the acid from hemp could be used to prevent SARS-CoV-2 infection and also shorten infections by preventing virus particles from infecting human cells. They bind to spike. They bind to spike proteins, so those proteins can bind to ACE2 enzymes, which is abundant on the outer membrane of endolythic endo in, in, endothelial. Sound it out. Lyl, thelial, endothelial, endothelial, endothelial. Okay, that's what it is. The outer membrane of the endothelial cell in the lungs and outer organs. In other organs, outer organs. I was about to say, what outer organs? In other organs, said Van Bremen. In a statement, both cannabis compounds were found equally effective against SARS, CoV-2 alpha, and beta variants. Van Bremen hopes this trend seen in his findings will apply to other SARS and future COVID-19 variants. What is likely to happen, okay, we might as well finish this off, two more paragraphs. What's likely to happen, though, is they're going to crush it, pull the oils, see what they can do with the oils, make a vaccine out of it or a pill out of it, or you know what I mean? That's what's gonna happen. And I gotta tell you, that might be a good thing, right? Then it would not demonize weed, and some of these poor countries that don't have the labs could be able to grow weed. That's logic, and we won't have that around here, quite frankly. This is fucking America trying to make money. Care if your kid dies of whatever they're dying of. That aspirin is $1,600. You piece of shit. Should have went to college. Should have worked for it. Everybody, you expect something. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You're like, you, you stole all the boots and the bootstraps. You've completely rigged the system. Yeah, we're on the verge of like conflict. Van Bremen say that the compounds can be taken orally. I'll say Van Bremen states these compounds can be taken orally. To him, they have potential to prevent and treat infection by SARS and cause a wild party, but they will also give you the munchies. No, I added that last bit. NYPD officer involved in shooting where two other officers killed made detectives seen the rookie. No, once he's in, I'll read that in a second. CBDA and CBGA are products of hemp. We don't need to finish reading this. No, you get promoted by the auspices of the police commissioner or the mayor. The mayor can go, I like that young man, promote him to detective. Okay, that's the way that works. Detective is an honorary rank. This is look. In the movies, you see a detective. He walk on scene like Law and Order or History Blues or whatever the fuck it was, right? Naked New York or whatever that show was in the '90s. And the guy yelled at the cop. We call it in the bag in uniform. The cop in blue. That's movie shit. They're the same rank. One is a little more glorified and specific to investigation, right? So there are detectives who know. With the guy who always had the sunglasses on, and the other guy was always showing his butt. What show was that? Right, but one was a gritty. They were detectives in the gritty city, right? Lower Manhattan, and the other one, Law and Order cops, are always sort of a little more. They're, they're never seen, well, they used to be seen threatening people all the time, but they have this a very different demeanor because they don't want to show violent cops and lawyers, right? They want to show these, so it's that. But yeah, the like on your first day as a police officer, the police commissioner can promote you to detective and ask you where you want to be assigned. You can go anywhere you want. It's super rare, obviously, but yeah. and then you're in the detective bureau, and that's a whole different can of worms, right? So then you can become a detective sergeant or detective lieutenant. You're still a sergeant and a lieutenant, a detective captain, which is those are rare. But but because when you get promoted to sergeant, you might go back into the patrol bureau, which is back in the bag, or some other special operation division unit, right? Like I said, anti-crime is a detective bureau unit. Plainclothes drug stuff is detective unit. But also you have detectives in every precinct. So he might be just part of the. Back in the day, there was a bike theft unit when bike thievery was big before all this tech shit happened, right? So maybe he'll just be in a patrol precinct in a suit asking you stupid questions. Yeah. So if someone broke into your car. Well, they don't really come for broken in cars, but they'll come for assaults and shit. They'll catch it. They call it catching cases. We saw enough for the police shows. A phone call comes in. Who's got this? And they write on the board, Bob, this is you, guy. Okay, I caught the Johnson murder. Yeah, looks like the wife did it. Oh, case closed. Right, and then it's a rotating. How many cases you got open, Johnson? Fucking 15. Solve something, motherfucker. All right. I'll solve it. I'll just pin it on that guy. All right, no, I didn't say that. But that's essentially the way the not the ethos, the not the climate, the environment of the New York City police de- slash detective thing worked. Yeah, you can get promoted immediately and instantly. Anybody up the ranks can take a liking to you. The chief of detectives can take a liking to you, but he can't promote you. See the way that works? Only the police commissioner can promote you. Yeah, only the police commissioner. Um, but yeah, good job for him. There was a police officer named Steve McDonald who was shot and paralyzed, and he couldn't work anymore. And they well, obviously he was paralyzed, quadriplegic, and they promoted him uh, to first grade detective, and those guys make $100,000 after he was shot to sort of help his family out, which between you, me, and the wallpaper, I always thought was bullshit. That shows the fuckery of the department. They don't do that to black cops or Latino cops, right? And first of all, there's just a lot of corruption going on, and every now and then you see this. I'll take care of my friends with the company money kind of stuff going on. But you mention it and you're attacked because it's a giant organization with political ties. Um, it needs to be reined in. You just can't run around killing people and assaulting people, and somebody's gonna do it. So I just want to be on the right side of history. All right, what are we talking about? We're not talking about cop stuff. Yeah, so they promoted him. Yeah, and you're a rookie for 2 years. So the way this works is for anything you do in 2 years can get you fired, right? So because you're on promotion, you're on probation. Getting promoted will fucking speed that right up immediately. I didn't really work with him. He was in the class before mine. He got into a shooting while he was in the academy, right after Gun and Shield Day. He saved this woman's life. Got shot in the hand. They promoted his ass immediately, and we were like, "Fucking good job, homie." That is because some people don't take action. I'm not even gonna fucking, and then they're loath to fire those people. Like those women a few, like I think I want to say a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, who saw a crime and drove away from it. Then the police car, there's a dash cam. They're both wearing cameras. Fired immediately. Good job. Yeah. Not only does the community not trust you, the people you work with can't trust you. Right? This is the opposite of that. We haven't even fully minted you yet. And you did this great and noble thing that brings, yeah, promote that guy. Absolutely. The problem with the New York City Police Department, there's a ton of those guys who don't get looked after. They look after their fucked up friends. When I was there They were firing guys left and right for beating the fuck out of their wives and their girlfriends, and they were protecting other guys who beat their wives and their girlfriends because those guys knew people. Anyway, we're not talking about cop shit. I'm not. I'm this. I'm. We're talking about love, William. Actually, love was 2 days ago. We're not talking about love anymore. Go get some love. Russia says it's withdrawing some troops as Biden warns invasion of Ukraine is distinctly possible. School board gets death threats over race, gender, and mass policy. So I'm assuming the what's that thing that they don't want taught? The what is that thing they don't want taught in school? Political race, not political race theory, classic race theory. I forget what it is. That race theory thing. Uh, Gender. I'm assuming the transgender bathroom thing. Girls can play sports kind of stuff they're getting calls about. And the mask policy. This country is on fire. Oh my God. People are fucking ridiculous. I'm going to have to start carrying a gun again. I'm trying to learn guitar, fucking people. Do not make me start carrying a gun again. You should have been here yesterday for the love show. Nope. I was going to because I have a holiday #holiday thing. Then I was like, I'm not even going to get into it because you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen? I'm going to get sad. I'm going to get depressed. Woe is me. Wah! Wah! You don't want to see that. Disgusting. I would have handled this better when I was drinking. Now, I go through these phases. I'm over here looking at this Mountain Dew, like, why did I have this? I'm pretty sure it's come to an end, this Mountain Dew phase of mine. I'll send you a Whitman sampler. Nice. All the, which ones are always out of those things? The chocolate nougaty ones? How do you even know which ones has the gooey crap in it? I remember those days as a kid, my dad bringing home chocolate hearts for my mom. I also sort of remember when it stopped, when they were both like, man, Valentine's Day. Psh. By then, I was somewhere around 25, 27, right? So how old were they? They must have been about 60-ish, right? So when I was little, they must have been in their 30s. And that's what young couples did, I guess. But by the time that's like, I'm fucking chocolate. What's wrong with y'all? Get these kids out of the house. I want to watch the game. uh, 5 pound of Whitman sampler. I'm all ready for it. All right. Oh, so well, hold it. We got more stuff to go to. I should cut this light on. My bad habit leads to late nights. So I've been doing some research on barcodes. I think I'm gonna have this locked up in my 6 week mark. My 6 week mark. Six. PJ O'Rourke. Who is I know the name. Who is PJ O'Rourke? 74. That might have been one of those names that's always been in the ether as I grew up. You know what I mean? Marla Gibbs. She's an icon. Here's the thing about that they're doing. Black History. Uh Black History Month has become famous people talking about their projects. Netflix showing you black movies or black actors as is the that's Black History. What is this? So you're not really talking about any of the issues that a group of people want, and you're selling us shit. Even as they shot a guy a couple of days ago who was in his house, and we're having yet another conversation about no knock warrants. The Federal Bureau of Investigation has a civil rights division that hasn't fucking looked into anything, and long before Trump. So don't act like Trump destroyed it, right? Long before Trump, they weren't looking into shit. Now all of a sudden, oh, we have an extremist problem. Let's look into some stuff. Oh, and by the way, these two guys who killed Arbery, we're gonna look into that. That's the only one you're gonna look into. Big storm to wallop U.S. with snow, floods, and possible tornadoes. What is this? 2:30 p.m. February 15th. What the fuck is this? Buckle up. A large-scale multi-hazard storm will make life wet and miserable for the central, southern, and eastern U.S. Wednesday through Friday. I know it's going to rain Friday and Saturday here. Through Friday morning. Heavy snow, a wintry mix of drenching rain with possible flooding and severe thunderstorms with possible tornadoes are all on tap. These storms are getting fucking huge. Normally, you get a storm and it's your storm in your city. But the last storm we got affected here in Virginia all the way up the coast to Massachusetts. And this is going to do the same thing. They're just bigger. That's got to be a 500-mile wide storm from Nashville to central Texas. Wow. 11 states face severe weather risks. On the cold side of the storm, snow is likely Wednesday into Thursday, all the way from northern Texas to northern New England. That is a long amount of fucking. Here's the way that used to be. That used to be wind and rain, right? So yeah, Texas's rain is Kentucky's rain, is Ohio's rain, right? They used to say the weather in Chicago yesterday is the weather in New York. Wait, the today the weather in Chicago yesterday is the weather in New York tomorrow or something like that. It takes like a day to get something like that, right? 24 hours, a day and a half. So if Chicago got snow, New York was likely to get snow. Um, but that's the way the winds push, right? If Chicago got rain, New York was likely. If it was a big enough rainstorm, New York was likely to get rain. Uh, the Weather Service said the greatest chance for disruptive snow extends from south central Kansas through central Missouri. I need to get a fucking map of the world and a map of America in this room. I'm already feeling embarrassed about trying to find the Virginia plains and the Virginia mountains last week. I've been driving around thinking about that like all week. I was like, I could have really fucking sworn. And in my mind's eye, I know I'm by the coast. I know that there's flat land, but for some reason, I never knew that it was called the Virginia Flats before it hits the Virginia mountains. And it's a long fucking, excuse my language, but it's like 100 miles. Probably 150 miles of coast before the mountains. So from the water inland, I want to say either 80 to 150 miles to the mountains. I was wrong. Okay, so it's 500 miles away. I was thinking I was like 80 to 100 miles. I'm like, that seems light. Yeah, it's 500 miles away from where we are. 450 miles. Uh, Amazing. Anyway, watch yourself. The storm is going to be ridiculous. It's gonna snow Friday day here, but people are getting ready for it now, which means video captures moments. Hundreds of birds fell from the sky and died in Mexico. Birds fall out of the sky for multiple reasons, especially during storms. Usually they're not flying in the storm, but sometimes when they get caught, electrical charges can wipe out the whole flock. That is some video. What? The yellow-headed blackbirds were migrating south when they suddenly and simultaneously died above the northern city of Chihuahua. A security camera captured the moment when scores of birds suddenly fell from the sky and died in northern Mexico. The video showed the flock of yellow-headed blackbirds hitting the pavement en masse in Chihuahua, about 230 miles south of El Paso, Texas. Local media reported the incident happening last week. While many of the birds were headed south from Canada, where they spent the winter, where they spent the winter, they fly north for the winter. Huh. Okay. I mean, we are going into spring. Um, and I know this because football season just ended, and first pitch is, I want to say, May. When's first pitch, William? Oh man, I didn't even watch it, but I've got an opinion on it because I heard about it. All right, I'm glad you brought that up. Um, while many of the birds were headed south from Canada, where they had spent the winter, recovered from the fall and flew away. Dozens of them were dead and did not move. Local authorities could not immediately pinpoint the cause of the bird's sudden death, but a veterinarian suspected the birds either inhaled toxic fumes from a heater or might have fallen victim to nearby power lines. How do you fall victim to toxic fumes from a heater and you're a flock of fucking birds? They're not standing cramped together. No, they're spaced out, and there's a bunch of them. You ever see a flock of birds? They look big, and if you were in that flock, they would be spinning around you like the energy in the bowl of a sporting arena, just kind of like giant flock of freaking birds. No, what happened was likely something that only Mother Nature could cause, like static electricity on high across a distance to get you. It happens with fish too, every now and then, because when fish detect lightning, they go deeper, right? They don't like to go deep because bigger fish are deeper. So they like to stay close to like the mid level and shimmer because things below them look up and see shimmering. They just think it's the sun. They don't think it's other fish, right? If they go too high, they stand out as a silhouette. So, but when the lightning comes, they all go deeper because the lightning will hit the water and kill a whole bunch of fucking fish. They have to get deep enough for it to dissipate. And every now and then, a whale who needs to breathe, right? Miss, you know, sometimes you gotta go up there and get some air. Will get caught in it, and they'll get struck by lightning, and then they'll become whale food. Whale fall or wash up on shore. All sorts of interesting bullshit about nature. All right, what do we got here? Okay, here's the thing about the Super Bowl halftime show. Eminem kneeled on the stage with five black guys. Nobody else kneeled, right? Uh, then it came out, oh, well, he was kneeling for Dr. Dre's. What? Shut up. In a place where kneeling is not allowed because of a famous kneeler, you can't then kneel there and say, oh, no, it wasn't for that. It was for this thing, right? Like if I stood up and said, uh, I don't even have a good scenario for this. Uh, but if I insulted like ladies at an award show, right? I said, uh, stay true to your women, and fuck all these bitches, and you stood up and was, everybody took pictures of you on the newspaper. And they were like, "You," he said that, and you got up and you stood up and applauded. You were like, "Oh no, I was only standing up. I stand by your woman part of that, right?" Like people would not care that you like, yo, you. It's the whole thing, man. It's not this little bit of stand by because all the, you shouldn't have. You know what? It's that's what we're talking about. So his kneeling felt inauthentic and full of shit. I think Eminem has long ago jumped the shark. Granted, fantastic rapper. Uh, Another 9-year-old girl shot in Houston after robbery victim fired at assistant. Former Minneapolis. All these guys were rookies, though. That is the thing. Look, George Floyd, the guy, the training sergeant who's in jail and looks to be going to jail for the rest of his life. He's gonna do 20 years, 30 years, I think, for Floyd, and then the government is gonna give him like 30 years. He's looking to do 60 years. Uh, these, I hate to say it, these sentences are fucking too long. They are. America's a mean place, and the people think that we're all really good. But all this mob fucking canceling, it's quintessentially the American mob. It makes perfectly good sense to me. All this cancel culture bullshit. I don't see a lot of difference in that than the Klan riding on black people and white people. Remember, they rode on white people too. So, I mean, it's the same kind of energy of I will have my way from the shadows. Yeah, they were all rookies. I've always said I can get myself sent to prison. I don't need help with it. One thing I can absolutely guarantee you, I never would have been in this position, having been in that position before. I've stopped guys from hitting people. I tell you, my record speaks for itself. Which is why my record is what it is in the New York City Police Department. Former Minneapolis police officer involved in George Floyd death breaks silence. Testimony from Tao Thao marks the first time any of the three former officers at the scene of where Floyd was restrained have spoken publicly about the events in May 2020. You're not supposed to. Your lawyers tell you to shut up and don't say anything. And a lot of times that looks bad, right? If you go, if you did a horrible thing, right? I'm a policeman, and I see a shadow moving, uh, and I shoot at it, and I run over there, and it's some 17-year-old like kid, and I'm like, oh man, he didn't have a gun, and it was a party. Goes to the wall, hits some 70, right? Not even the person you look for. Um, you can't even go. I feel bad about it, cause then the opposition will go, that's an admission of guilt. He obviously meant to do it. He was a giddy, So you have to be quiet. Then it looks cold, right? And they let a guy out of jail after 44 years yesterday, and you should see the woman. I got 44 years, so I'm happy. He knows he did it. All this shit. All the evidence says otherwise. All the racism says otherwise. Talthar is one of three former officers charged in federal court. Yeah, this is the one that the feds brought up a civil rights action on. Violating Detroit's constitutional rights when Officer Derek Chauvin pressed his knee to Floyd's neck for more than 9.5 minutes as the 46-year-old man was handcuffed face down on the street. The arrogance of that. I mean, I remember watching that video. Every now and then I see some shit and I'm just kind of like, nobody can top that. That's fucking ridiculous. And then it gets topped. And I sit there like, what? No, no, that is the most outrageous thing. No one can top that. That's fucking ridiculous. And then they top it. I'm afraid to even ask what happens next when you can choke a motherfucker out in the street while everybody films you. The arrogance of that. I remember the Amadou Diallo thing. I was like, wait, they shoved a broom handle in his ass in a police precinct while they, no, that didn't happen. That's ridiculous. Who would do that? And I was like, I'm never going to hear anything weird of it. And it keeps getting fucking more fucked up. Tamir Rice shot dead at a playground. Didn't even bother to get out the car. Just the arrogance of this shit. And you're just sitting here like, it cannot possibly get any. What? I mean, for what has to be more arrogant than that? It's going to have to be a full on execution at a protest. Boom. So in front, and then beating the case in a street full of people. You're going to have to execute somebody like you have every right to. This is where we're headed. I was listening to a woman today talking about we shouldn't talk about it because it uh sort of like if you talk about you bring it to fruition kind of like, and we should deal. And I was like, you sound fucking ridiculous. You sound like you don't want to talk about it. That's what you sound like, and you're trying to control other people's talk about it. What good reasons do you actually have to think that there won't be, other than people shouldn't talk about it? It was on NPR. Ridiculous people. Sound like somebody's. Some people get these positions and they shouldn't be there. And she was talking about neighbors shooting at neighbors. I was like, bitch, two wars, right? The Revolutionary War and the Civil. What don't you get about this? It's happened before. What are you, idiot? And she's talking about no. I really wish I could. I was listening to it today driving down the road, and I was like, this woman is a moron. It's like saying, no, all kids can get in the car with anybody. Anybody will take a child home because everybody loves children. What? What? No, that's not true. That should be true in a perfect world, but that shit is not true. Her logic for what she wanted was so upside down. Oh my God. The topic was, will there be another American Civil War? Yeah, it's okay. I do know who PJ O'Rourke was. Neighborhood recall Arbery's death and hate crime trial of Arbery's killers. Nobody even talk. They're not even covering this hate crime trial. Ottawa police chief loses job for not acting decisively enough against blockade. What was he supposed to do? They have a right to protest. See, this is you hanging shit on people. Family of cinematographer killed on movie set sues Alec Baldwin and Rush producers. Yeah, we knew this was coming. So how about this, guys? So open day is March 31st. What did I say? I didn't say May, right? I thought I said March. Yeah, all right. Opening day. 6 weeks away. So they here's the thing. Former Honduran president is arrested as the U.S. looks to extradite him on drug charges. Prince Andrew reaches settlement with Virginia Giuffre in sexual. I thought, yeah, this is looking more and more like money. So instead of him coming to America, sending lawyers here to fight this case, he settled with her. Man, a sketchy. I told you, I think she's sketchy. I think she's sketchy, and she's got history of being a sketchy young woman. Better watch all this. I'm a victim. I'm a victim. Nobody climbed to your window and spirited you away. You went out there looking for chaos in the big wide world. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying bad things should happen to you, but I am saying runaways are more likely to run into shit like this than sniffing. I mean, money people, right? Sniffing around the money. Everybody's not an innocent victim here. You got to watch what people get themselves into, and they get themselves into it. So I am pro. I'm trying not to sound like, but at the same time, ladies, do you want me going? Oh, no, no, no. You can only go out when I, as a man, say you can go out. You can only, you have to have no. So everything can't be. I went out into the world and I was a victim of men. Because then the men are gonna go, this is outrageous. We really need to protect these women. Everything I'm hearing so far is that the queen got put. I wonder how much this is. All right, so first I'm looking for 3 women to host the Oscars. You need 3 ladies to do a job. One good comedian usually does. None of them comedians. It's all going to be ass. None of them are nominated for an Oscar either. Why are they? I don't even know what's going on with this. They're trying to keep a lot of things that are dying up and active and vibrant. The Oscars is one of them. All these award shows where people get together to give themselves awards, trying to promise Trump a better deal from it. It didn't actually deliver. Yeah, I know. You can't stop telling me how bad Trump is while you're ignoring all these other things. Mitch McConnell's a piece of crap. The whiteness that's only skin deep. Code switch. What is code switch? Arizona priests use one wrong word in baptism for decades. They're all invalid. See, this is why you need to come to the Sunday session where I will fix your soul. This guy, I read about this. It's like saying what is a famous religion Christian saying? It's like saying Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and doing this. Whoop, right? So then 20 years later, you taught all these people to do Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Whoop. And then they go out into the greater world and people are doing this. And then they're like, what are you doing? That's essentially what happened, right? I've taught you how to be Christian incorrectly. Is it about the practice of doing what they tell you it is? Or is it about the faith? If I told you God loves you and this was what we did, and you went through life being a good person doing this versus doing this, are you not getting into heaven? They say you're not. But they also tell you, give me some fucking money and we can arrange that you get in there just fine. I say you are, but I don't run a church. All right. Do I even want to hear what he had to say? That's why I opened this. I just want to hear what he had to say. Thou and Lana are accused of anything that Mr. Floyd was not in cardiac arrest, said Thou, who later testified he didn't know that there was anything surgical with Floyd. Da 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 da. All right. I think that's him on the stand. It's not him in a press conference talking smoke, and we know electricity from the birds. Woman found dead in Manhattan apartment after being followed home, police say. Woman found dead in apartment after being followed home. Oh, okay. All right. So, why is this a story? It seems like it was a murder. It's not like she was followed home and then she died of unknown causes, right? Like that woman who went out with that guy and then they had a one night stand and he wakes up and she's dead next to him. It sounded like he gave her something and then she died because of it. Woman found dead in a Manhattan apartment after being followed home. Who followed? It has been a 20-year-old man, so they got the guy. after he followed a woman to her New York apartment, stabbed her dozens of times with a knife. All right, that's just horrible. But Dallas mortuary accused of producing the worst funeral ever. The worst funeral ever. Lockout. There's gonna be a baseball lockout. I think I've been hearing something about a lockout. Man, how about this? How about your baseball and your football teams are no longer fucking charities? Pay your taxes. All of these people just need to seriously be arrested. Like this whole Netflix, this inventing Anna, this Russian woman comes to America. I thought we had issues with Russia and fleeces these people out of money. They just wander here. They have babies here. I thought they were our enemy. Why are they allowed to wander through the fucking place like it's an open house? The people in charge should not be in charge. Ugh. I also heard that Joe Biden's poll numbers, nobody wants him. 60% want somebody else. That's not good, Democrats. It's not good. 60% want somebody else. All right. What we're going to look up? We were going to look up 60% want someone else. Snoop Dogg and Kelly Clarkson to host a U.S. version of the Eurovision song. First of all, the Eurovision Song Contest is great, but I'm sick of Snoop Dogg. I'm completely tired of him. Completely tired of him. Um, yeah, all of those guys. I'm completely tired of them. Completely tired. So here's the thing. Apparently, do we even want to read it? About Hillary Clinton's had a lawyer who was actually spying on Trump. Did we talk about that yet? So it looks like all the shit that Trump said, Obama spying on me, the fucking Clinton thought, has come to pass. Remember, the Clintons did this dirty shit to Obama, right? They released his uh his religious I guess it's like a Muslim version of like a quinceanera or a Catholic. I mean, I've had them. You go through Sunday school, you get a God. What is it called? When they, I don't know what it is. When they make you a Christian, like you have to go after Sunday school, you graduate to being God only knows what. Um, but nobody's covering it. The Clintons are so dirty. Oh God, they're so dirty. And this is the thing: if you can do this with Trump and his businesses and all this stuff, you wait till there's a Republican president and a Republican Congress. It's gonna get really dark. It's gonna get really, really dark. Uh, so they arrested him, and he's a lawyer who apparently lied to the FBI. He briefed the FBI. You can't exactly my confirmation. Thank you. He briefed this guy briefed the FBI and lied to the head of the FBI. Here's the thing: if the FBI goes, "What's your name?" You go Gary, and it's not Gary. It's lying to the FBI. It's a bullshit law, but it's still a law. All the laws that they can do everything and anything they want are above your head, and that's one of them. So it's best not to talk to them. Don't talk to them. Who are you? I'm FBI agent so and so. We like to ask you some questions. Nope. No. At least with any other police, I can just be like, yeah, my name is Wayne Wang. Huh? How you like them apples? Right? No. Everything is yeah. So don't even bother. Go get a lawyer. Don't even bother because I'm telling you, those guys are at this point, and all the FBI guys are lawyers too. Remember that. the only law enforcement agency where I think where everybody, well, at the federal level, everybody has to be a college educated person, which is bullshit. Unless everyone in the country is college educated, that is bullshit. It's like how the Ivy League keeps getting all these AAA students. You tell the children you want to come there, and they all believe that they want to go there. So they kind of gravitate there anyway. It's not like you're doing the work if you've got a beacon set up for people to come to your door, right? You see what I'm saying? If you're the greatest hunter and you can always hunt the greatest, smartest thing, but you've convinced the creature to show up at your backyard, are you hunting anything anymore? And then when they stop, because inevitably they may go someplace else, right? All of a sudden, can you then entice them with hunting again? Are you a hunter? By that I mean you claim to be have the best teachers and the best program to educate people. Can you really do that if all these people all of a sudden decided not to go to Harvard, Princeton, Yale, Dartmouth, Columbia, Brown? Did I forget one? There's six, seven of them, right? So all of a sudden, now oh, well, we were charging them $200,000 a semester because we are absolutely about what we say. Watch this. I'm going to go into these places where nobody likes to study or read and teach these people because our system is better. They can't do that. It's another fucking. It's another fucking con. They're running on history. Yeah, did I drop? Did I miss Yale? Yeah, I probably did. Um, what is his name? Let's put and just type in Clinton attorney. And it's funny, right? Because earlier this week, Clinton said some snide shit about Donald Trump flushing stuff down the toilet. And when I heard that, I went like this. I went, "What the fuck would Donald Trump be flushing shit down the toilet?" It makes him sound like a rube and a hillbilly. And then I was like, the dude does like, you know, Kentucky Fried Chicken and McDonald's and Burger King, which the elites laughed at him for. But don't get it wrong, everybody in the country, they're $1 trillion companies because everybody in the country eats that shit, right? I think I've got Kentucky Fried Chicken in my freezer because sometimes, I mean, I like to cook, but I can't. Sometimes I can't be fucking bothered with cooking fried chicken. So yeah, and it's one of my favorite things. No, no hate on it. Uh, I prefer Burger King Whoppers over McDonald's Big Macs, and I prefer McDonald's fries. But not all the fries are this big. But that's when I go, and I don't go often. But when I go, I know what I like. And when I'm in New York, I really like White Castle hamburgers because they're not anywhere else but in New York. Shame, really, shame. Um, so what is this guy's name? Clinton attorney. This guy was on all these news. Tech executives access to White House computer to look for dirt on Trump, says special counsel. Supervisor looked to fire. Not liable in the defamation suit of Sarah Palin. But what did they say about Sarah Palin? These are the things, right? No more, right? We covered it. Just take our word for it. Then he was found out. Yeah, but what? Some of these people have a grudge, and you should really make sure the Justice Department is legit and it's not. U.S. Attorney John Durham speaks outside federal court in New Haven, Connecticut, February 2021. Special counsel John Durham accused a lawyer for the Democrats of sharing what this is seen in politics of sharing with the CIA in 2017 internet data purported to show Russian made phones being used in the vicinity of the White House complex as part of a broader effort to raise the intelligence community's suspicion of Donald Trump ties to Russia shortly after he took office. So you're saying the Russians got someone elected the president and all these intelligence agencies missed it, but Hillary Clinton knew. This was designed so when they ran to uh, Donald Trump going, we've got some questions. The Clinton people could instantly go, we hear that the fucking Secret Service and the FBI and is looking into Trump for Russian collusion, right? And that's all they wanted. That's all they wanted. They wanted to go, hey, go over there and start this fire, right? And then like at your at your at your confirmation, right, your first communion, uh, because they don't want you to have a nice thing. So then they call the cops because someone smells smoke, right? So they light a match, and someone goes, "I smell smoke," and then Hillary Clinton runs outside and go, "Oh my God, I had to call 911 because," and then the cops show up, wreck your kid's birthday cake with the fire hose, break the whole thing down, and then she tells you how she saved everybody, and everybody gets her a victory lap, and then they start asking you, "Who has this place with children in it, and the fucking place is on fire? You suck." That's the Clintons, right? So they tried to get the government during an election to not to I don't think to arrest him because there was no but to seriously launch an investigation, and that's all they wanted because everybody under them would have accused him. They'd have been like, "You're a fucking underling for the CIA. What you fucking FBI? What? I am the secretary of this, and he's the president of that, and this is my friend. He's the secretary of that, and this, and the head of that, right?" The Clintons are so dirty. They every year they get dirtier, right? Every year the Clintons just get more. And when she said that he's destroying and clogging White House toilets with secret government papers. First off, the government can fucking rescue those papers, right? I'm pretty sure. Second off, if you're Xeroxing shit for the president, every Xerox scans the image that is taking a Xerox of, right? If you have a copier, printer copier, which I still think some people still use. And if it's not a printer copier and you emailed it along secure lines, it's in a secure database. So when she said all this stuff, I was like, what is her fucking angle here? And then 3 days later, it turns out that, you know, this story was dropping. And I'm sure somebody told them it was coming out. So what they were trying to do is put all this media attention on Trump and have this just sort of kind of like cruise by in the background. And it has for most people except for me, right? So this guy got arrested. This just like the Steele dossier guy, he was an ex-spy. He's arrested, right? He got this guy from this British agent who got it from his Russian contact about Donald Trump. Shut up. And the only people who keep falling are the people they use. It's very fucking Machiavellian in here. Like you have to risk it all and die for the Clintons, and everybody's doing just that. But you know what? People are risking it all and dying for Trump too. So I get it. Are we gonna read this whole thing? We're not gonna read the whole thing. Oh man, it's not really long. All right, let's read the whole thing. Uh, 6 minutes on the clock. All right, CNN. Who wrote this? Caitlin Polance and Evan Perez. Caitlin, Katelyn, Caitlin. Oh, Polantz, Polantz, ants, Palance. Okay, and Evan Perez. All right. Special Counsel John Durham accused a lawyer for the Democrats of sharing with sharing with the CIA in 2017 internet data purported to show Russian-made phones being used in the vicinity of the White House complex as part of a broader effort to raise the intelligence community's suspicion of Donald Trump ties to Russian shortly after he took office. The accusation, which Durham couched in vague technical language in a court filing late Friday, in a vague technical language, has been seized upon by Trump and his supporters who claim the former president was subject to a smear campaign. Yeah, but everyone should have seized on this, not just Trump people. Like I tell people, sometimes the enemy is right about what they say about you. They're not always lying, right? So the Russians are like, yeah, Americans are lazy and grotesque. Yeah, that may be true. But you know what? They also said, yeah, Americans are a racist society that kills black people. Said that all through the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Not 80s, 60s and 70s during the civil rights movement. They weren't lying, right? It's fucked up, right? If every time I saw you and your wife, like 10 years ago, she's always had a scuff mark or a bloody nose or a black eye, and nothing like that has happened in 10, 20 years, I wouldn't, when you ran for Congress, I would, and I don't like you. I wouldn't be lying to bring that up. You know what I'm saying? Cheated on his wife. You just hate that fact that I'm a better congressman than you. Yeah, I hate that too. But you did cheat. You know what I'm saying? And this is where we're at. So, I mean, enough bad shit with the Clintons already. Um, oh, yeah, excuse me, I'm getting freaking old here. Uh, the accusation which Durham couched in vague language, smear campaign. Durham says in the filing that Michael Sussman, the Democratic lawyer, he's a lawyer. He went to school to lose all this shit he worked for. They probably gave him $3 million to do it, so it's worth it. Uh, I'm just pulling shit out of my ass. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, she's trying to be a Hollywood producer. Those people are full of shit. At this point, all these people go into journalism to make money. That means you can't trust them. They want to be the oligarchs and the elites. And the elites will find you in your wallow, your horrible pit, and make you rich and glorious and send you back to the people where you're from as a talking box for what their message is. Right? And to society is only taught to worship money. So soon as they show up with the baubles, people are like, ew. And they're like, yeah, slavery's right this way. You too. They're like, oh, I can't wait to get me some of that slavery. Like, have you heard what you're saying? None of this is good for you. Why you? Because they only show you, right, the giant meal, the fancy clothes. They don't show you anybody cleaning the giant house. They don't show you anybody doing the fucking dishes. They don't show you anybody doing the laundry. Right? It's all this, and it fucks with your head if you're not careful. I grew up doing chores. We had chores growing up. So, like when I used to say on Facebook when I was on it, all my liberal, well-doing friends talking about how if all everything could work. I was like, in your utopia, who cleans the toilets? Right? Their idea still requires somebody to work and sweat. I don't get it. So this is more of that. And I was telling them like Hillary Clinton was not going to win the first time around. They were like, "Rah, rah, rah," and then she didn't, and they were mad at me. But they couldn't be too mad because there was a black president in Obama, Obama, Obama. Then she ran again. Oh, no black people. The black people are going to vote because they all vote Democrat. But she had been insulting black people. They dragged that poor black girl off. Remember that? The dragged that black girl off from one of her events and really enraged the community. That I got hot sauce in my bag, swag, that bullshit that she said. And then nobody came out for her. And then everybody was really angry at people in the black community for not coming out for her. And it turns out that other people didn't come out for her in larger numbers in the black community. We are only 13% of the population. We have an outsized income because the place essentially was founded by not by us, but on us, right? And all these laws taking into account us because we are so interwoven through blood in the landscape and in all the documents. No other people. No other people. Um, do we want to finish reading this or I think I'm done with my rant. All right, let's finish reading this. Let's skim it really fastly. Let's see if I can go over here so I can be in frame. All right, so dorm officer and finding sport. Okay, dorm office said it found nothing to support the allegations. The special counsel also noted they found nothing to support the allegation. So where did you get this weird? Here's the thing, people. Whatever you got, the government got that guy and an expert because the government can pay him, right? So that weird little loner weirdo who loved to collect stamps at 12, 13, 14 and went to college ends up working in the government so and so, knowing everything about stamps and stamp paper and stamp ink and yada yada, right? Not everybody's trying to make several $1 million on some antique roadshow bullshit, right? Some people just are government people, right? Work your government gig, do your time, on your weekends, collect comic books or whatever, right? Not everybody's trying to run the world. And there's a ton of those people. I was one of those people in the New York State Police Department. There's a ton of those people who work in government. Stop. Let's go over here. and kick the overtime ladder. All right. So you brought data to the FBI, and then the FBI took your data and was like, "What is this bullshit? This is not data. This is right because they've got a trillion experts, and if they don't have it, they can go out and hire an expert for 5 million, 10 million, $100 million if they so wanted to. And you're coming up with this shit at your coffee table, idiots. You're a lawyer. I told you one of my hobbies back in the day was arguing with lawyers in my local bar because all they had was book learning and no common sense. And I would eat their lunch regularly. And I was like, I should be a lawyer. I'm going to get that law degree one of these days. Well, time is short, right? I should probably get it sooner rather than later. 2022. All right. Um, Durham's office said it found nothing to support the allegations. The special counsel also noted that the data showed a Russian phone provider connection involved the executive's office of the president during the Obama administration and years before Trump took office. So they're saying there was a Russian phone number, but it was connected to Obama. It was connected to the White House through the Obama administration, and that phone number goes back longer than Obama. So if someone's got a Russian phone number around White House. The special counsel also noted that the data showed a Russian phone provider connection involving the executive office of the president during the Obama administration and years before the Trump took office. So did he find a Russian data set and slap it on? The date was wrong, and you know what I mean? Or is someone using the Russian phone around the White House? Why? The data was compiled by a tech firm that had special access to purported suspicious internet data through an arrangement with the U.S. government, and the firm was in touch with Sussman, according to the filing. So he knew somebody because Washington, D.C. is a small town. He probably met him playing darts at a pool hall. What do you do? Well, I do special research on internet coverage for government because everybody likes to know somebody. Hey, I'm a lawyer for Hillary Clinton. Hey, well, I know Bob down over at the internet look around place. Oh, really? We might need an internet guy for a server my boss has at her house. Remember that? Um, so they probably met and he was like, "Hey, you got any Russian?" And they were like, "I probably can find something. I mean, do that for me. All right, thank you, man. When we look out, I'm gonna look out for you because you my dog, you my homie." Gave him this data set. I found that Donald Trump has it, and you should look into it. The first thing they're gonna look at is where this thing came from, the origin of the data you're giving me. Hey, we have the same data over here in this office. What's that office? Well, we have a special arrangement with them through this thing, and they do this for us. But yeah, it's got their markings all over it. We can even tell you who pulled it up and when they downloaded it, because that's computers. Every time you log on, it knows when you logged on, how long you were on, where you went, what you downloaded, it, what you paid for. It's the fucking internet. So he gets this thing from this guy, takes it to the fucking feds. But here's the thing: if Hillary Clinton would have won, you never would have heard about this. They'd be like, "We're gonna arrest him." No, the president said it's a dead issue. Don't worry about it. And then somebody would have been like, "When I was in the White House in 2017, it'd be like 2030 by then." And the Clintons, before Hillary Clinton became president, right? That's what would have happened. But that didn't happen, so no one can cover it for them. It's why they want to. I mean, look, man, Donald Trump is not going to jail. He's not going to jail. I keep saying it, and I keep being right about this shit. We don't put American presidents in jail whether you like them or not. He's not going to jail. And all this, I'm threatening your kids. So he's the number one pick for the Republicans. 50%. 50% of the Republicans want Donald Trump. 50%. Everyone else is split up between everybody else. I heard 21% for the governor of Florida, which I find hard to believe. He may be big in Florida, but where else is he big? Outrageous. Really is outrageous. What the frickin' heck is going on in this country? So it looks to be Donald Trump. It won't be Kamala Harris. Donald Trump will beat the fuck out of her. I look forward to the days of rare form Donald Trump showing up. I've got to tell you, I have seen some shit in my life politically, right? Donald Trump just taking a chainsaw through the Republican contenders, and then the Democratic nominee was just an incredible thing. And while he was dealing with them, he was fending off shits from the Democrats, smacking them around while he was dealing darkly with the Republicans. It was an amazing thing to see. Amazing thing to see. It's so necessary and so needed. The arrogance and laziness of the corruption of Washington is what this is about. I mean, insider trading, you had to pass a law. So if I did it, I'm going to jail for 30 years, but you can do it. So can you murder your wife as long as you're a congressman? Because I know I can't murder my wife. And before you go, that's ridiculous. There's a lot of ridiculous shit that they allow themselves to do, like be bribed, right? Oh, that place is why we're falling apart. Let's check the chat. No, 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 no. The guitar is not on hold. I'm still gonna learn these bar chords. I was just looking up a system for bar chording. Bar chording. Let's put this here. Oop, that's backwards. All right. Hold on. Wait a minute. All right. Bar chords. I can do this while sitting. If I do this, all of a sudden I can't concentrate on what I'm doing. Um, no, we're gonna learn. We're learning an instrument. When the Lord calls us home, I'm gonna be able to play the guitar, unless He calls me home sometime this week. Now I got to survive this week before. The irony of it, it's the last thing I do on these stupid shows. All right. Uh, let's put this here. Don't fall over. Do not fall over. And let's finish reading this. Uh, an executive at the tech company, Rodney Joffrey, and his associates exploited this arrangement by mining domain name system traffic associated with the executive's office of the president and other data for the purpose of gathering derogatory information about Donald Trump. Joffrey is not charged with any crime. He's lucky. He probably lost his gig though, but he's incredibly lucky. Uh, a spokesperson for Joffrey said he is an apolitical internet security expert with decades of service to the U.S. government, who has never worked for a political party, and who legally provided access to DNS data obtained from a private client that was separately provided. Wait, hold it. Wait, what just happened? Legal provided access to DNS data obtained from a private client that separately was providing DNS services to executive office. Oh, so he looks to be in the clear, right? They can't look through his social media and be like, "God damn Trump, I hate him," because you know they did. They're like, he doesn't talk politics, he fishes, he searches a lot of porn, he watches anime, he doesn't watch the news, he likes Marvel comics in DC, and they're like, "Oh, he's just a fucking nut job who knows computers." All right, so he's not an agent of so and so. Does he have any other legal responsibility, legal culpability? Not like not an agent of, right? But you know what I'm saying? Because I've got a lot of political shit in my life. So if I got into something, they'd be like, look up my political life. Oh, he's got all this political stuff going on here. And then you had a fight with that guy over politics. Well, obviously, versus me going, no, what? This wasn't about politics. This was about something else. And then I'd have to prove that it was about something else. And if everybody goes, they were stupid idiots were arguing if Batman could be Superman, and then they hit each other, and then they would go, oh, okay, right. They're still it's not a hate crime charge for politics or whatever. It's just two idiots mixing up. We're gonna send you both on your way, or you know, send you both off to prison. It's likely both off to prison. So he had no political leanings. He took it. He had the legal right to take it. He gathered it from a place that legally had the right to gather it, and he had the legal right to access it. Did he have the right to give it to anybody though? Upon identifying DNS queries from Russian-made Yoda phone in proximity to the campaign, and so they think that the lawyer misrepresented himself. Respected cybersecurity researchers were deeply concerned about the anomalies they found in the data and prepared a report of their finding, which was subsequently shared with the CIA. The CIA. Yeah, so Donald Trump was right. They were spying on him. He was not out of his mind. The Clintons, man. Oh, they just keep doing it. Yeah, Joe Biden is in the 30% approval range, and 61% of people don't want him to run again. That's not good. 50% of people want Trump to run again. This whole Ottawa thing, they're up there with racist American flags. What are you doing? Right? And then the mayor was like, "Oh, they all came from America." And I'm like I said with this other thing, you got to prove that to me. You have to prove to me that people drove up from America into Canada to do this shit, other than just saying it. Where the receipts from hotels and restaurants, volume going up, and more traffic, and all that goes with more people showing up in a place, more bedrooms, more True Army and Kim Kardashian attorney at law. We're gonna try. It's on the list. Neighbors recall Arbery's death in hate crime trial of Arbery's killers. 30 years with the possibility of parole, and the other two got life without parole. Oh my God, the idea of these people. An oral history of Nike Cortez 50 years after its release. I think the last time I had a pair of Nike Cortezes, I was 16. I don't like those shoes, and they're everywhere. I used to love uh, All Stars, Converse All Stars. All right. Oh, excuse me. All right, all right, all right. We're gonna end the podcast. We're not gonna run forever. I just want to look up a couple of more things. I felt guilty that it happened outside my house, said Dan Alcott, who was home with his wife and their baby when Arbery fell dead a few feet from Alcott's driveway. Neighbors of three white men convicted of murdering Ahmaud Arbery testified at their hate crime trial Tuesday about how a quiet afternoon in their community was shattered by three gunshot blasts and the sight of a young man's body sprawled in the street. Who wrote this? The National Desk, February, The Associated Press. Okay, this is from The Associated Press. Who wrote it for The Associated Press? I felt guilty that happened outside my house, said Dan Alcott, who was home with his wife and their baby when Arbery fell dead a few feet from Alcott's driveway, February 23rd, 2023. will be a week and a day. 2 years ago, police found bloodstains and shotgun shells in Alcott's yard. He said later, he said he later met Arbery's parents when they came to inspect the scene and let them place a wooden cross with a small wreath in his yard. He moved his family to a different neighborhood months afterwards. He moved. He left. You killed the guy in my driveway. This is the oh. Not everybody's for the bullshit, man. How could you walk out of that house every day? You got a baby. I couldn't do it either. But cops kill people in these houses, and people are too poor to leave. Then they have to return to the house where the loved one was murdered and stay there. The amount of bad blood building up in this country, I view it like I view the Yellowstone volcano. It's overdue to go, and when it goes, it sort of ends America. I don't get it wrong. I think it ends a lot of places, because it's ginormous. I don't think it's going to be like gaboom and blow the place in half like a really bad kind of like gas attack or something. But I do think that once it begins to rumble and start spewing shit, we're all in for a mad day. I mean, it's still percolating. The Yellowstone is essentially built on a volcano, just not just flat and oozy. Uh, let's see what we get. He moved his house a few months later. The house didn't feel the same anymore, Alcott testified. I didn't feel like home anymore. Father and son George and Travis McMichael armed themselves and used a pickup truck to chase Arbery after spotting him running in their coastal Georgia neighborhood that day, a Sunday. A neighbor, Willie Roddy Bryant, joined the chase in his own truck and recorded with cell phone footage. If you would have left your phone at home, you'd all be fucking going to barbecues now. Your word against his. No arrests were made until the video leaked online. And who leaked the video? Roddy Bryant. Let me exonerate myself. Wait, what do you mean I'm arrested and going to jail for life? These people. And they're arrogant about it because they have a support system for this kind of behavior and have had a support system for this kind of behavior for about 500 years now. 200 years in this, well, since the founding of this country, right? Columbus bought a slave with him. So the first people to touch this bitch were Spanish from Spain, Italian explorers, and black people. Look at us. We're succeeding. I don't even know what to tell you. Ah. All three are now standing trial in separate cases in U.S. District Court where they are charged with violating Arbery's civil rights with targeting him because he was black. They had pleaded not guilty. The defense attorney said the deadly chase was motivated by an earnest, though erroneous, suspicion that the 24-year-old black man had committed a crime, not by racial hostility. Here's the problem with that. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Is he going to be found not guilty for killing this guy? Look, if you stop the white guy, chase him down, and shot him 3 times with a shotgun, I don't understand. Look, I can't even continue reading this. I can't even. Can't even. All right. So, I guess that's it. It is 8:30 on Tuesday, the day after Valentine's Day. I hope you got all the loving. I hope you find that thing you're seeking. This is a belated Valentine's Day thing, stream, I guess. And I hope it sets you up for good things through the course of the year to the next Valentine's Day, right? I will be back tomorrow. Stop it. Practicing bar chords. Um, Yeah. So I sort of forgot my train of thought from looking at that thing. All right, this one's in the books. Maybe I'll start numbering them again. I'm gonna give myself time for that. But also, I was thinking about starting something completely new with a completely different channel. Uh, Good lord, man, give me a break. So I don't even know. I don't know. I don't know because, like I said, the titles are becoming harder. This is why it was either just number them, and they don't look impressive until you get up to like the 300, uh, which we'd have long ago surpassed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Totally appreciate you. Totally appreciate you. Yes, please like and subscribe. We will be back. Um, I think we're about to blow the doors off. We like streaming. We're not gonna stop. We need to show up and properly do it because at this point we're flailing. But we're here every day. Well, almost every day. I was thinking. I think I've been taking Mondays off and Thursdays off because we're streaming every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Even though I think last week I did. I think I did a Saturday stream where I was half in the bag. I was just kind of like, and that lasted for 10 minutes. But normally that's not the case. Um, 8:30. All right. It's not like I'm gonna go and watch TV. Maybe I'll watch Vox Machina on Amazon because I am a Dungeons and Dragons guy, science fiction guy. I'm just the weirdest anomaly of weirdness ever put in socks. All right. We will see you tomorrow. Be easy. Take care of yourself. Um, Pick up a hobby. Cooking, you'll eat for the rest of your life, so that's a good one. Music, everybody loves music. That's a good one. Finance, if you like music, maybe dive into finance. You know, trust me, after 5 years, you would know a lot, and then you'll be way richer than me. Oh, maybe I should do finance. What is going on with this midlife crisis? I should just get a girlfriend. All right, I will see you in the next one, and the next one is tomorrow, 6:30. Please be there, be there, be there. Take care of yourself, William. Uh, yeah, tomorrow. Peace.